Welcome to the Problem Solving Podcast, where we take everyday problems, talk through them, and hopefully help come up with a solution by the end of it.
I'm Devin. This is Wes.
I'm Wes. What's up?
And this is our new studio, so I'm super excited to
know.
not be sitting in front of a fireplace. And we appreciate all of you who have joined us in front of the fireplace. But
I'm super excited that there's not a window
with glaring light
in my face.
I know.
So,
Done is better than perfect.
Yes, I agree.
And the message is more important than the video quality.
Yes.
And now we have somewhere to come at you a little bit better, cleaner, and with much better audio, I think. So
Yeah, no, I totally
this will sound
agree.
great.
Yeah.
So,
Very excited.
what are we chatting about today, my friend?
We're chatting about how to deal with difficult people and or difficult conversations.
People aren't difficult.
No, people are great.
No, people are wonderful.
Thanks for coming to the podcast. See you next
Over.
week.
See ya. So, difficult people and challenging conversations
Yeah,
and how they show up in your life.
Absolutely. And I think that this is a universal problem. People are people, and people have different personalities, and sometimes that means that people don't always get along.
You know what I'm coming to realize is that as we do this, because this is episode 6, episode 6, is that every problem is a people problem.
Oh my gosh.
It all comes back to people.
Yeah.
It all comes back to people.
What's
every
wrong with
problem that we've talked about. So I'm interesting to see the take on this one, on how this comes back to people.
Yeah.
And how having these conversations or handling tough conversations with tough people maybe solves or makes the problems even more difficult.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give a long story here. It's going to be a long-winded story that might not even help with this whole entire thing, but we're going to go over it anyway.
Don't say me.
No, it's not
Okay.
you. So I listened to a podcast, funny, and it is goes through Grey's Anatomy. Okay, I'm watching Grey's Anatomy right now.
Yep.
And so every episode, it kind of goes through it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I found it, I was like, this is fascinating because it's two people on the show. And the one person's seen it, the entire thing, and the other person's seeing it for the first time.
Mm.
So I'm like, oh, okay, this is perfect. And so it goes through every single episode. They're not even like, I'm in season 9, they're in season 10, so it's like great. Like I'm gonna be able to catch up. But I'm so excited for this podcast. And I start listening to it, and it's like a 2-hour podcast per episode. I'm like, damn, they must be getting into it, right?
Ours is only 30 minutes.
Yeah,
So-
they talk about Grey's Anatomy for probably 45 seconds
Okay.
of the entire podcast.
Yeah.
And so, like, I found myself getting irritated, actually. I'm like, what is going on here? And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. And also, why do I have the right to be mad at their podcast? And so,
Because you're a human.
because I'm human. So I bring that up to bring this up. Sometimes when we're dealing with difficult people, it's just that we don't have all the information or communication isn't clear.
I think most of problems come back to people, but then the people trace back to the communication.
Yeah.
Right? And I think a big challenge we've seen over many, many years is just the communication pattern of people. How they talk to people, how they communicate. And I think the biggest challenge in the communication pattern is we speak as if we're talking the way we would want to hear it.
It's true.
Right? Because we talk in the tones and the patterns and the volume that we would want to hear.
Yeah.
And I think when we take the moment to kind of step back and say, okay, well, we're not talking to ourselves.
Right.
And if we're talking to ourselves, all the problems would be solved, right? Because people aren't involved.
Yeah.
It's kind of a joke because we're the problem most of the time. And so that's actually kind of just dragging it back. We become the problem in that scenario because we are the ones not communicating in a way that then feeds into how you're going to interpret it.
Yeah, that's completely fair. I mean, take you and I as an example, right? We are pretty opposite in terms of the communication. Like, you hate small talk.
Don't like it.
And
I like large talk.
You're like
Venti talk.
large. He's a tall.
Yeah, that's
tall
small,
person.
actually. Very barely.
He's a tall, and like you're like, give me the information. We're good. We'll make a decision and go. We're gonna take one take on this video and move on.
That's right.
I'm like,
That's right.
love the small talk. We'll record some lady while her explaining her house for an hour and just chit chat with her. I like to ask a lot of questions and try to get a lot of information, and so it's like we're totally opposite when it comes to that. And I think,
Well, and really quick, I love that.
Yeah.
Because again, this podcast would be really boring if I said, "Here's the problem, people, over." Right? Yeah, that's what I want to do. And
It'd
so,
be a fascinating podcast,
it'd be an awesome podcast because people would just go do things, right? But no, we got to talk about them, right? You know. So anyway, go ahead.
No. I was just picturing just like a whole catalog of podcasts that are like
5
8
minutes.
seconds long. No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Today's problem are dealing with difficult people. This is how you solve it.
Stop it. Over.
Have a good one. Yeah, no. So
Perfect podcast. I'd listen to a whole season in a day.
I know, it'd be great. So, gosh, could you imagine the content you could just pump out? It'd be-
Oh, I know.
God.
Yes. And the amount of views because it's like 5 seconds long. You know, they just watch
Oh
it.
my goodness, maybe we
100%. I know. Anyway.
No. So, but no, everybody has different communication styles, and I think that you said something very important, which was we communicate with other people the way that we would like to be communicated to.
Mhm.
And that could rub people the wrong way depending on what kind of like characteristics you use or profile. I think of DISC profiles all the time with
Yep.
this.
What's DISC?
DISC. So DISC, there's 4 different profiles. I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's like 4 different. You're either a D, an I, an S, or a C. Well, you could be a DI, you could be
Sure.
a SC, but
Most people are a mixture of 2.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes 3.
yeah,
Very rarely do you see someone who's just 1.
right.
Right? Yep.
And so
So what's a D personality?
D personality. Devin's a D personality,
Because
actually.
my name starts with D.
Yep. And
Because
so
that's why. So there's,
no, but he's very direct.
yes.
He's very like type, almost like a type A personality. He's a D. He's very direct. He wants things done like in this way, and this is how it's gonna be done. And hey, we're gonna be moving on, skip, move on, skip, move on, skip. Like
So it's so funny too because so my business life, 1,000%.
Right.
My personal life, not.
right,
And yeah, so I'm driven.
Yeah.
These people will run through a wall to get things done. They're very goal oriented, result driven.
Yep.
And honestly, sometimes they don't take into account other people's feelings or values
Yeah.
because they're just worried about getting the thing done.
Right.
Yeah. What's an I?
I'm an I, actually,
Your
and
name
so
doesn't start with I.
I know my
That's
name
weird.
is Wesley with an I. I Wesley. And so
like iPhone,
like iPhone,
Terrible.
I Wesley.
Yep.
And so eyes are just like people person. They love being in amongst people. They love communicating with people. That's just who they are. It drives them. It fuels them.
Yeah. Life
And-
of the party.
Yeah, life of the party type of people. And so we're big picture thinkers, but like details, whatever. Like, hey, I have an idea. I don't know how we're gonna get there, but this is a great idea. So those are the eyes.
Well, I notice that sometimes with you.
Oh yeah.
We'll be talking, and I'm like talking about this specific thing, and you're like, okay. I'm like, that's it? like I want some C out of that, but
Right.
you know, it's like, okay, well, let's just go. And so it is. It's kind of strange sometimes dealing with different personalities because for me, yeah, I'm a D. Let's just go do this. You
Right.
think I'd like that answer?
Yeah.
Okay. But when I get that answer, I'm also a natural skeptic.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what are you not telling me? What are you not thinking about? What are you not planning for? Like, so it kind of drives me nuts.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
It's all good. What's an S
I
personality?
guess I'm the difficult person there.
I think we all
Gosh.
are difficult.
Oh my goodness. What's the S personality?
As personality, so those are your stable people.
Yep.
Right? Those are your employees. Those are your people who just love to care for people, but they like to do it in a systematic way.
Yep.
They're perfect educators. They're perfect administrators. They just like things to be the status quo.
And C.
C personality is the worst people on the planet. Just kidding. Love everybody.
They're the opposite of D for sure.
D and C personalities just don't mix typically because the D personality, like we said, wants to go do. The C personality needs to know not just the square footage, but like who built the home, the name of the builder's daughter, because she had some input in the color scheme in the kitchen. You know, like they want every detail before they can move forward.
Absolutely.
And so for a D and a C, that just doesn't work, right? And then you get the most terrible people, the DC personalities. They battle themselves, right? So they come across as combative to others. Now, they're really great people.
Right.
And they mean well. And it's just a really tough personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, so we went through the DISC profile because we're drilling back to, okay, well, we're following the golden rule most of the time, which again comes back to conditioning from kindergarten.
Yep.
We're following the golden rule a lot of times when in life, right? And we communicate with others, and the golden rule is treat others how you would want to be treated.
Right.
And I just don't think that's right.
Mm-mm.
I like the platinum rule. Have you heard of that?
No.
So the platinum rule is you treat others how they want to be treated.
Love it.
Right? So the platinum rule is, I think, the gold standard when it comes to communication.
Yeah.
Because if you don't communicate to someone in such a way that they're going to get it, well, then you already lost.
Yeah.
Right? Or it's an uphill battle. And we don't want communication to be an uphill battle.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think goes down to just learning people and who they are, getting to know people, and caring enough, to your point, to use the platinum rule.
Yeah.
To realize, okay, I'm dealing with a C personality. I can't just say, hey, we're going to do this and not give any reason for it.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
You can. You
It just
won't
doesn't
have any
work out well.
friends.
Yeah. Then you become the difficult person that they have to deal with.
You are. And then you get a reputation of being a difficult person. So, funny story, being a D personality, I didn't know I was a D personality when I was younger, right? I didn't learn that until like 2016. But when I was younger and I was the store managers and managers of the different restaurants for Wendy's and Arby's, I actually had a nickname that would follow me from store to store. And I didn't know about it until like 3 stores in. But they'd call me Hitler. And I hate saying that, but they would. And the reason is because I came in and I had standards and I had goals and I had a vision of where we were going. Now, I will say back in those days, I shouldered a lot of that responsibility, which means, could I have come across a little brash?
Absolutely.
Harsh, driven, difficult sometimes? Absolutely. And it was all coming from a good place.
Right.
So we'd turn over staff, 100%, 200%, sometimes almost 250% to get to where we needed to be. So that comes across as, oh, well, if he doesn't like you, he'll just fire you.
Right.
Well, kinda, right? If you're not doing the things, if you're not doing and rowing the boat in the direction it needs to go, then why are you on the boat?
Right.
It makes it harder for everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's funny, we talk about the DISC and handling and working with difficult people. I was a difficult person. I'm still a difficult person, but in different ways, right? I'm a more complex person now.
Yeah.
And this is something that takes time and work and energy and just conditioning in the sense of you've got to get to know the different types of people.
Yeah.
And driving it back to like, hey, what if it's the first time I'm meeting somebody? Like I don't have all the time in the world right then and there to get to know them. But if I have an idea of who this person is in the first 15 seconds, that helps me adapt faster to then help that person.
So what we should do is just introduce ourselves and say, I need you to take this 45-minute assessment.
Exactly.
So
That's what I do.
I can better
And if you're
communicate
dating,
with
I
you
really
in the
suggest
future. No, but that's true. It's getting a feel for people asking questions, listening, and figuring out, okay, right away, this is the personality type I'm dealing with. And so, like, how can I best communicate with them? I think that's huge.
So how do you figure that out, though, in the first 15 seconds?
It's asking questions and listening. So it'd be like, hey, my name is Wes. What's your name?
My name's Devin.
Hey, Devin, man. Nice to meet you.
You too.
Awesome. Let's do a real estate conversation. This is going to be really... Devin's going to make this the absolute worst because when we do role-playing all the time, he'll be like, yep,
Because I'm
Sounds
difficult.
Yep. Nah, because he's a good teacher. So we'll talk about real estate, and let's say that you contacted us about 123 Banana Street.
Sweet, love Banana Street.
So I'll be like, hey, Devin, my name's Wes. Thank you so much for reaching out about 123 Banana Street. What about 123 Banana Street made you pick up the phone today?
It just looks nice.
It just looks nice. What about it looks nice?
Looks nice. It's got a nice kitchen.
Does have a nice kitchen. I love it. What about the kitchen stood out to you?
I don't know. It's got the Viking stove and nice commercial appliances.
Okay.
Yeah.
Viking stove. Not a lot of people realize what a Viking stove is. So
it's from the old ages. It's like wood and fire and yeah.
Which is not true. So cooking is important to you then.
There you go.
There you go.
That's the point, right?
Yes.
Like, so get to something that you can gain some insight from.
Yes.
So yes, for me, it's been a lifelong dream of mine to buy an old Wendy's building, convert it into my house, so I have a commercial kitchen in the center of it. It's true. It's true. It will happen one day.
All right.
Because I like to cook.
Yes.
I like to do those things. And we won't know that unless we ask the questions.
Yep.
We get deeper with people.
Yep.
And I think that's really the key to solving the communication problem, is that if we stop trying to have the answers prepared and we stop trying to lead people to where we want them to go, and we get into a point of curiosity and we learn about them, the conversation becomes easier.
We listen.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. When you get into a combative conversation, most of the time, I've been in combative situations, is when I'm not hearing what the other person is saying. And I know that's the case because the person will tell me, you're not hearing me, right? And like, in those moments, well, we need to take a cue and step back and say, you know what, maybe you're right. Because I'm probably not. Because our natural human intention is to look good and be right. We've talked about this too. And if it's to look good and be right, well, then we're constantly trying to get our point across. Well, we need to understand their point before we can apply ours. Because we're dealing with people. We're not dealing with black and white facts and figures. We're dealing with people. There's a lot of variable. Yeah.
What about technology and how we live today has made that harder when it should actually be the opposite?
It should be the opposite if you think about how much information we have available for each other. But I think the big thing with social media is, we just see the good.
Yeah.
Nobody posts the bad online, which means, you may know the good things that are going on in their life, but you also might just know the front they're putting on. And in that kind of conversation, when you just know the front they're putting on, they don't believe that's reality for themselves. So by you going to them and saying, oh, your life is amazing, you've gone on these trips, it looks fantastic, you and your spouse look so happy together, and on the inside they're like, well, that's not the case, I'm living a lie.
Right.
Well, now you're kind of closing communication even more. Because have you been in that scenario where like, oh man, like I really don't want that person to know this about me, or I don't want them to understand this or find that out, so I'm putting on this front, and now I'm digging myself deeper and deeper and deeper into this place where I will never share it with them.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
It's that's reality. So I think social media has actually hurt us in that sense, in the fact that we want everything to look good. And when it doesn't look good, we're not going to allow people to get there.
Yeah. Also, I think that it just gave us an avenue to be so brash to one another.
Well, that too.
And
we'll get to the ugly side of social media.
Just like it destroyed the way people can communicate with each other, because it's the same mask that you're talking about I don't want people to know this about me.
Yeah.
It's the same mask of I can hide behind, a screen and say whatever I want to say. And
which emboldens people. It emboldens people, but here's the thing is that, because I know what you're saying, and you're saying in such a way that like they're not going to get punched in the face for saying what they're going to say, right? Whereas in the past they would if they said it to someone's face. And so I love the fact that people feel emboldened. What I don't love is that they don't come from a place of understanding.
Right.
They don't seek first to understand. They don't put themselves into the world. They put themselves into their own desire.
Yep.
Which is wrong.
It is. And it's unfortunate because it's like you're trampling on people without even realizing it. You're just like doing it because you think it's funny, or you think, oh, I want to say this, or they're wrong. They're absolutely wrong. And And it's not. Like, who are we to say that?
Yeah.
And again, it comes back to just getting to know people and listening.
Well, you just become the difficult person at that point.
I know.
And the funny thing is like, what you put out there online is how you show up in person.
Yep.
What you practice in private is who you become.
Yep.
And so it's dang, like you might put something out on social media or you might say something and you have no idea how someone has taken that.
Yep.
And then they may think terribly of you, but like, are you a terrible person? Maybe not. Maybe you had a moment.
Yeah.
Maybe you said something, you didn't think about it, blah, 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 but now people think that you're this kind of person.
Right.
And they avoid you.
Yep.
So it just builds that barrier up even more, which is why I think it's so important to just be authentic, genuine on social media while taking into consideration who you're talking to, who your audience is.
Yep.
Because all too often I find people who just try to talk to everybody.
Yep.
Right? Talk to your people. Know who your audience is. Know who you're speaking to. Obviously, if I'm on a stage in front of a bunch of realtors, I'm going to have a different conversation with them than if I was on the stage in front of a bunch of middle schoolers.
Right.
It's a different conversation.
You're not going to talk to middle schoolers about the housing market? And...
Why am I? Because they need to buy real estate. Seriously. I mean, if I look back, what was I doing during the crash? I was wasting my time in high school.
I know, ridiculous.
I know, stupid stuff.
Oh,
You live and you learn.
Yeah,
Right?
I know.
So, I look at this too. So we've talked about the DISC profile. We've talked about difficult people, difficult conversations, communication patterns. What about the sense of like when we're dealing with difficult conversations specifically and we put them off?
Yeah.
Right? Because I think this is something that happens pretty consistently.
Absolutely.
And I look at this, and I know I mentioned the landlord of life in the past.
Yeah.
But I think this is another landlord in your life that will consistently just come and collect and collect and collect from you. And guess what? If you never confront the conversation, well, then it is what it is. You have to deal with it, how it comes back. And to me, that's like going and, working with a landlord and being like, I want to avoid this conversation.
Yep.
Well, I would much rather be able to negotiate those lease terms.
Yeah.
Right? And in life, you've got to be able to negotiate the terms of the conversation. So what do you think is easier? Putting off a conversation, hoping it goes away, or just having it?
That's a loaded question. What's easier? It depends on the moment, and it depends on if you're talking about, if I'm about to have a difficult conversation with you right now.
Mm-hmm.
What's easier? In my mind, it would be like not having the conversation.
Sure.
Now, if I look back a week from now
Yeah.
and be like, what's easier? It'd have been having the conversation and getting it over with.
Yeah.
Because then if you don't have it, what happens? Anxiety builds, your thoughts about the conversation builds, it ends up, your brain tells you it's going to be worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And then if you just have the conversation, it is what it is.
It actually can become worse, I think, if you take longer, right?
Yep.
Because when we confront these things head on, the anxiety, that fear, those things that we put in our own heads, they really don't show up.
Right.
I mean, they'll show up for a moment, right? And you're absolutely right. Is it easier to avoid? Yes. It's difficult. It's uncomfortable. It's challenging to go talk to someone in such a way that there's a potential for confrontation, right? Or just a potential for not looking good.
Yeah.
But in reality, you're going to have those same feelings for the next week because you're still thinking about it. And that's the landlord, right? They're constantly coming back. Well, I want to negotiate those terms. So like for me, the biggest thing is when there's something happening, how can I hit it as fast as possible? Sometimes, and I'm a natural skeptic at heart, so this comes a little bit easier for me, but I like to hit them before they even happen.
Yeah.
Like I look for the problems. I'm like, how can I solve that before it happens? But if I see a problem, oh man, that to me is like it's already been happening for a week. Because then I go back and I'm like, dang, well that didn't just start right now. That started a week ago.
Right.
But they're just bringing it out now. So I've got to jump on this even quicker because they're going to be 2 weeks in by the time I'm a week in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it goes back to getting to know people, getting to know who they are and how to communicate with them. So realize that a lot of the reasons that you are avoiding these difficult conversations is because of the things that you are just telling yourself. And it's not actually like how these people would react. Now, that's not in every case. But in a lot of cases, it's more of I'm nervous for myself because I don't want to say the wrong things or do the wrong things or make this person upset with me.
Or make it worse. Yeah. I think that, that comes into just knowing who you are. And I think when you say we got to know people at a deeper level, well, it starts with you.
Yeah.
You got to know you. How do you respond in certain scenarios? How do you respond in different pressure situations? And if you know you, then you can start to control you.
Yeah.
And when you can control you, it's so much easier to control the room. And I don't think you can ever control other people.
Mm-hmm.
But when you can control you, you control the conversation. You don't dominate it. Right? And there's a huge distinction there.
Absolutely.
When you dominate a conversation, you're trying to roll over somebody. You're being a D. Right?
In multiple ways.
In multiple ways. So you're being that, right? And this is where I wanted to bring it back to that DISC profile. I'm so glad you brought that up at the beginning because, like I mentioned, most people are a combination of two, right? Most people are a combination. So when you have an IS personality, very common.
Yeah.
SI personality, very common. A DC, not so common. A CD, not so common. An ID, fairly common.
That's what I am.
An SC, fairly common.
Yeah.
But when you find someone who is just one of those, right? So just so y'all know, for clarity, I am a straight D person.
Right.
I don't have anything else above the line. The closest thing I have next is S, which is systematic, right?
Yeah.
I like to be systematic, but it's not above the line, so it doesn't count. So I'm a D personality. For me, if I met a C personality only, that'd be like my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And am I adaptable to work with it?
Yeah.
Have I worked on and conditioned myself to be able to communicate with those types of people? Yes. And if I feel like I cannot, I've adapted to be able to control the room, right? And sometimes controlling the room is just not being in it. Right? So it's understanding, am I even the best person to be having this conversation? And I think that's really important too, because everybody is going to connect with somebody differently at a different level in a different way. So I also have to know, like as a straight D personality, am I going to be the right person to help the straight C personality? No. So my ability needs to be, who do I know that can help this person? Because my conversation with that C would look something like this. It would look, you know what, hey, I hear everything you're going through, and I want to turn you down now than let you down later.
Yeah.
I want to connect you with someone who I feel can help you with this at a higher level than I can, because that's truly what I care about, is that you get the help you need, right? And sometimes that's the best communication, because then there's no friction. Right? There's no me trying to make something work because I'm a D personality, and there's no them saying this is never going to work because I don't have all the facts and figures and you're not telling me what I need.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it's that humility to communicate in a way that maybe I'm not the right person for this communication. And knowing when, getting back to controlling the room, knowing when to kind of turn it off.
Yeah.
Because it can get heated too. By the way, to kind of cool this part of the conversation, do you know a cool way to kind of like
cool way?
Yeah, cool way. If conversation gets heated, to kind of turn it down. I learned this a few years ago. I thought it was the coolest thing, and I didn't believe it worked at first. But like, if you and I are getting into a heated conversation, and it's just not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I just see it kind of floundering. I need to do what I call, and what I've learned as, a pattern interrupt.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the simple ones is, we're just bickering, arguing, fighting. Do you smell popcorn?
I do, actually.
Right now? Do you? So what's funny is you pattern interrupt, you bring in a different sense, which is smell, and you actually smell a room, and you smell, and the funny thing is like, even if there's not popcorn, you will kind of smell it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you actually did or not, but sometimes it actually shows up, because your brain will trick your nose into thinking, I should be smelling popcorn.
Well, for a second when you said that, quite literally, that was the first thing I did was smell, and I'm like,
see?
It could be popcorn.
Do you smell popcorn?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I walked outside the other day and I said, I smell like Taco Bell out here.
You did?
Right? And that wasn't really kind of for that, but it changes the whole dynamic of we're having this conversation, and then all of a sudden I'm talking about popcorn and we're smelling the room, it dissipates things.
Yeah.
And it's that pattern interrupt of the fact that, we're going in this direction, we need to change that. We need a hard stop, because eventually that's going to lead to nothing but destruction.
Right.
Yeah.
So it sounds like to solve this problem of dealing with difficult people or difficult conversations, it starts with us.
Yeah.
It's learning who we are and how we communicate with people.
Mhm.
And then getting to know people on a level that makes it easy to communicate with them.
Yeah, see, I subscribe, and I know I've mentioned this before and we've talked about it, but I subscribe to the Everything's My Fault.
Yeah.
That should be a podcast, the Everything's My Fault podcast.
Maybe it could be a short one.
Yeah.
Today's problem is difficult people. It's my fault.
It's all my fault.
And just be done with
It's
it.
because I'm a loser. Anyway,
Send this to somebody.
seriously,
I'm telling you,
there's a great
content
SNL
ideas
skit.
going
I
on.
don't know the guy's name, but there's a great SNL skit where this lady comes in and she's having anxiety and she's telling her story, and the guy goes, "Okay, well, here's the thing. I charge $5. I don't give change, so you've got 5 minutes. Go." And she's just talking and telling all her problems. It's like 4 minutes in, and he's like, "Are you done? You've got another minute. I don't give change, you know." And
Yeah.
"Are you done?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm done. I just don't know how to fix this." And he goes, "Okay, are you ready? I want you to take out some paper. I want you to write this down. Are you ready? It's very easy. It's 2 words. Stop it!" And just yells at him. And I think that's honestly, again, it comes back to us.
Yeah.
We have to stop our behavior and understand our behavior before we can ever try to affect somebody else.
Yep.
So yeah, I think if we subscribe to the fact that everything's our fault, and we bring it back to us, and we bring back to how can I change my approach to this? How can I be a change agent? How can I help others in a way of helping myself? Communication becomes simpler,
Yep.
easier, and honestly more fun.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than getting into a screaming match with somebody.
I agree.
You both don't feel good afterwards, I promise, and you just expel all the energy.
Right?
What's super cool and how I like to think of tough, fierce conversations is we go in a way that we are precision talking to get to an endpoint where there's no casualties.
Mm-hmm.
We can both win,
Mm-hmm.
right? The conversation should be win-win. The conversation should be how do we come to an agreement, not how do we just win one over.
Love it. I think that pretty much wraps it up for today.
Yeah, friends, just make everything your fault. Go out there, practice. Understand who you are at a high level. Have people tell you who
Yeah,
you are at a
it's
high
true.
level.
That's an uncomfortable conversation, but it's a good one.
And be willing to accept the results, because the thing is none of you are perfect.
Yep.
We're not perfect.
Nope.
There's going to be things. There's going to be constant things we need to work on. But when it comes to communication, I find communication can solve a lot of problems.
I agree.
Yeah.
DISC, by the way, is not the end all be all.
No.
It's just a tool.
Yep.
And then there's a free one we can put in the description,
Sure.
and then use it, see what you are. It'll help. At least use it as a tool, as a resource. So,
Use it as a tool.
yes.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
I think that's about it.
That's all it, friends. Problem solving podcast, Devin and Wes.
It's all Devin's fault.
I hope you had a great day. See, he's got a lot of learning.
That's what it is.
So,
That's what it is.
have a great day. Subscribe, like, and we'll see you next week. Bye.